In this latest Patreon video, we're going to explore 20 tips for improving your cue ball control. We'll be going through several examples of how these tips can supercharge how you play 8-ball and 9-ball patterns. So if you're ready, let's get started. When working with students for the 14 days experiment, many of them possess excellent fundamentals along with strong ball pocketing skills, but they still struggle with their 8-ball and 9-ball game. And that's because without a thorough understanding of pattern play, which is learning the best route from ball to ball that will allow the highest percentage of success, a player's game will always be limited. So what follows are 20 tips to help you start controlling that cue ball better. When working with students, one principle of position play that we spend a lot of time on is letting angles do the work for you. And this means playing for a little more angle on certain shots, which will help send the cue ball toward its position area. For instance, in this game, Efren has ball in hand on the 1 ball. In the game, Efren created a high angle on the 2 ball, which meant all you had to do was softly roll in the 2 ball, and the cue ball will be sent toward the other half of the table. By playing a high angle like this, all Efren had to do was pocket the 2 ball, and the angle would do most of the work as far as moving the cue ball down the table. Had he played for an easier shot on the 2 ball from the 1 ball, he would then have to use a stun shot to send the cue ball up table, which is much harder to control. In this example, we're playing 9 ball and we're on the 1 ball. The issue is getting from the 2 ball to the 3 ball. Instead of rolling forward a bit and taking an easier shot on the 2 ball, I'm going to kill the cue ball and keep this high angle. At this angle, all I need to do is roll in the 2 ball, and the cue ball should head toward the other end rail. Now many players would roll forward when they shoot the 1 ball, creating an easier shot on the 2 ball. But at this angle, we can no longer roll the 2 ball into the pocket and still get our position on the 3 ball. Now we're going to have to use a stun follow shot, which is much harder to control. Creating angles that will help send the cue ball to its next position area is essential to playing high-level pool. These are the types of angles you'll have to become comfortable with. In this game of 9 ball, the problem is getting from the 3 ball to the 4 ball. It's going to be too difficult to get my ideal position on the 3 ball, so I'll have to play for an angle on this side of the 3 ball pocket line. But at this angle, I'll have to use a stun shot to go up and down the table. While this is doable, if I had just played for a little more angle in the 3 ball, I would have much better control over the cue ball's path, since at this angle I can use a rolling cue ball. In this game of 8 ball, I need to play for an angle on the 5 ball that will send the cue ball toward the other end rail for shape on the 8 ball. In this first shot, I left myself here in the 5 ball, which means I'm going to have to use a stun follow shot with quite a bit of side spin. In the next attempt, I'll place the cue ball near the end rail. Now I have an angle on the 5 ball that will help propel the cue ball toward the other end rail. And sometimes there's only about an inch of difference between a stun shot and a rolling shot. It's important that you can recognize which angles are rolling angles and which angles are stun angles. In this example, we're playing 9 ball and we're on the 1 ball. The issue is getting from the 2 ball to the 3 ball. We have an issue with the 3 ball since we'll have to play it in the bottom left corner pocket. If we play for an angle like this on the 2 ball, it won't take very much effort to roll in the 2 ball and send the cue ball to the side rail for position. Now, had we not paid attention to this rolling cue ball angle, we may go too far when we pocket the 1 ball, leaving ourselves an angle on the 2 ball, which is going to require much more work to get to our position area. In this game of 8 ball, we have 2 solids left. Many players would roll in the 3 ball and take this shot on the 5 ball. At this angle, we'll have to stun the cue ball either toward the side rail or the end rail for position on the 8 ball. While this shot is doable, there's a slightly easier way to get on the 8 ball. Now when we shoot the 3 ball, we're going to send the cue ball over to the side rail. Now it takes a very soft stroke to send the cue ball to the end rail. In this drill, we're going to place an object ball by the side pocket and the 8 ball on the end rail. Take cue ball in hand and try to create an angle in the object ball that will send the cue ball to the end rail for shaping the 8 ball. Try to keep the cue ball within 1 diamond of the end rail, so make sure you use a soft speed. You may take a few tries until you find the correct angle, but the more you practice drills like this, the easier it becomes to finding the right angle. And once you do find the angle, this shot becomes very repeatable with very little effort. You should be able to shoot it over and over again with similar results. Now move the 8 ball closer to the corner pocket. Once again, find an angle in the object ball that will take the cue ball to the end rail. Once you shoot this shot enough times, you're going to know immediately when you have the correct angle in the object ball. Learning how to use the angles to move the cue ball around the table will dramatically change how you play this game. Let's examine 2 different angles on the 3 ball. At this angle, it won't take much effort to roll in the 3 ball and send the cue ball to the end rail for the 8 ball. Now, let's change the angle to the 3 ball slightly. At this angle, we can no longer roll the 3 ball into the side pocket and get our position on the 8 ball. Now we'll have to use a stun shot to get to the end rail. So if we were playing in a game, I would try to play position for this rolling cue ball shot. Recognizing when to use angles like this to move the cue ball around the table will help take your game to that next level. The next principle is one of the more important principles of position play, sending the cue ball toward the object ball at the correct angle. And you'll see this a lot when watching professional matches. More times than not, top players will try to send the cue ball toward their next object ball at the correct angle. By doing this, they won't need precise speed control, which opens up their position area. In this game, Corey Deuel ended up here on the 6 ball. When he shoots the 6 ball, he would like to end up here on the 7, so he can use the tangent line to send the cue ball toward the end rail for shaping the 8 ball. He could pocket the 6 ball and go 1 rail for shaping the 7 ball, but he won't have his position until the very end of the cue ball path, so his speed control is going to have to be very good. Instead, he went 2 rails, which meant he would be traveling toward the 7 ball at the correct angle. By playing the shot this way, his position window was much larger. In this exercise, we have 3 balls that we're going to run in order. The goal of this exercise is to end up on or very close to the 2 ball pocket line so we can perform a stop shot for the 3 ball in the corner pocket. When I set this up for my students, they usually place a cue ball here and try to roll the cue ball toward the 2 ball pocket line. Since we're not traveling toward the 2 ball at the correct angle, we won't have our position until the very end of the cue ball path, so our speed has to be very precise. What the students find out right away is that it's very difficult to land the cue ball on or near the pocket line consistently. A better option is to place a cue ball here and just hit your mark on the side rail. For instance, if I send the cue ball toward the 3rd diamond, the cue ball should end up on or very near the pocket line. And this is a shot that's very repeatable. Now we're going to adjust this layout slightly. The 3 ball is at the end rail, so we no longer want to get straight in on the 2 ball. An angle like this would be ideal for pocketing the 2 ball and sending the cue ball to the end rail. So now shooting the 1 ball this way is actually the best option, since we're traveling within the angle we need on the 2 ball. So if we underhit the shot, we still have the angle we need to get on the 3 ball. In this game of 9 ball, we're on the 5 ball and we need to land on this side of the 6 ball pocket line so we can get our shape on the 7 ball. If we end up on this side of the pocket line, we're going to have some work left to get position for the 7 ball. When working with students, they usually choose this option where they come off the side rail. But similar to the previous example, almost the entire path is in the danger area, so our speed control has to be very good. The better option is to stun the cue ball toward the 6 ball with a touch of low. Now the cue ball is traveling toward the 6 ball at the correct angle, so our speed control doesn't have to be exact. In this game of 9 ball, we're on the 2 ball. We need to create an angle on the 3 ball that we can use to get on the 4 ball. There are 3 different ways of getting position on the 3 ball. We can go 2 rails this way, but the majority of the path is in the danger area. We can go 1 rail, but once again the majority of the path is in the danger area. The proper way to play this shot is to go 2 rails off the side rail. Now when the cue ball leaves the side rail, it's heading toward the 3 ball at the correct angle. In this game, Ko Pin Yi has ball in hand on the 1 ball. His ideal position area is on this side of the 2 ball pocket line. He has 3 different ways to get shape on the 2 ball. He can draw the cue ball back or go off the side rail. But both ways require excellent speed control. The path Ko chose was sending the cue ball off the side rail using high action. And in the game he underhit the shot, but since he was traveling toward the 2 ball at the correct angle, he still managed to continue his run. So whenever possible, try to send the cue ball toward the next ball at the correct angle. By playing shots this way, your speed doesn't have to be perfect. Always be aware of danger areas when playing position. On many shots in pool, if you end up on the wrong side of the pocket line, you may still have good options for getting back in line. But there will be times when getting on the wrong side of the pocket line could be the end of your run. For instance, in this game of 9 ball, we're on the 1 ball, we need to play position for the 2 ball in the side pocket. We need the cue ball to end up on this side of the 2 ball pocket line, since we need to play shape for the 3 ball on the end rail. If we end up on this side of the pocket line, we're going to have an extremely difficult shot to get back for the 3 ball. So anywhere on this side of the 2 ball pocket line is the danger area. We can pocket the 1 ball and just roll into position, but if we underhit the shot, we may end up in the danger area. So in this situation, we're going to send the cue ball all the way to the side rail to make sure we cross the 2 ball pocket line. Now we've taken the danger area out of play. In this game of 8 ball, I'm down to my last 2 solids. My goal when shooting the 2 ball is to make sure I cross the 7 ball pocket line for the side pocket. Ending up on this side of the line is a danger area and will probably end my run. I could try to roll into this position area, but my cue ball path and speed would have to be very good. So I'm going to make note as to where the pocket line meets the side rail. If the cue ball can hit the rail around this area, it should end up on the correct side of the pocket line. Playing position this way helps take the danger area out of play. Here's a similar layout. In this game of 8 ball, I'm on the 5 ball and I'll be playing the 2 ball in the bottom side pocket. Right away I can see that this side of the 2 ball pocket line is a danger area. If I examine where the pocket line meets the side rail, I can see that it's pretty far down the rail. So in this situation, I'm going to play it safe and send the cue ball off the side rail and then the end rail. This will ensure I don't end up in the danger area. Even though this shot is slightly harder than ending up here if we had just come off the side rail, we avoided the danger area and we still have an angle to get on the 8 ball. In this game of 9 ball, I can see right away that getting from the 3 ball to the 4 ball is going to be a bit tricky. If I play shape for the 3 ball in the side pocket, the danger area is anywhere on this side of the pocket line. Ending up on this side of the pocket line will probably end my run. So in this situation, before I pocket the 2 ball, I'll find out where the 3 ball pocket line meets the side rail. Once I find this spot on the side rail, I'm going to go down about a diamond and make this my new position target when I shoot the 2 ball. Now if I underhit the shot, I may still end up on the correct side of the pocket line. In this last example, we're playing 8 ball and we have 2 solids left. My goal is to pocket the 5 ball and play shape for the 1 ball in the corner pocket. Ending up anywhere on this side of the pocket line may end the run. Even though my speed is pretty good on this shot, I still ended up in the danger area. This time when I shoot the 5 ball, I'm going to send the cue ball off the top side rail. This will help keep me on the proper side of the pocket line. So when playing 8 ball or 9 ball, always be aware of danger areas and adjust your positioning accordingly. In 9 ball or 8 ball games, whenever you send the cue ball to a rail, just don't blindly send it to a rail. Be very specific about which part of the cushion you're going to strike. For example, in this 9 ball layout, we're on the 5 ball and we need to create an angle on the 6 ball to get on the 7 ball. Ideally, we would like to have a little distance between the cue ball and 6 ball pocket line. At this angle, we can go 2 or 3 rails for a position on the 7 ball. One mistake many players make when sending the cue ball to a rail is not being specific as to which part of the rail they need to hit with the cue ball. And this sometimes leads to awkward angles, making for a tougher run out. A numbering system I use with students is to count the diamonds as 10. So if we look at the 6 ball pocket line, we can see that it heads toward 20 on the side rail. If we can send the cue ball off the rail around 23 or 25, we should end up at a nice angle for our 3 rail shot. So before I shoot the 6 ball, I need to be very specific about where I need to hit the top side rail. If I can strike the rail above 20, that should give me a high angle in the 7 ball that I can use to get on the 8 ball. In this 8 ball game, we have 2 solids left. My plan is to pocket the 4 ball and draw the cue ball back to the side rail below the 3 ball pocket line. If I end up too close to the pocket line, I'll have a tough positional shot to get on the 8 ball. So first I'll examine the 3 ball pocket line and determine which angle will work best for going 2 rails for shape on the 8 ball. At this angle I can roll in the 3 ball and the cue ball will naturally go 2 rails for shape on the 8 ball. So if I can draw the cue ball back to 15 on the side rail, I should have my angle. So before I shoot the 3 ball, I need to pick a number on the bottom side rail to send the cue ball toward. If I can send the cue ball toward 10 on the bottom side rail, that should work for getting my shape on the 8 ball. By picking a number on the bottom side rail like this, it helps me visualize the cue ball path. So I'll have a better idea of how much side spin, if any, I'm going to need. In this 8 ball game, I'm on my last solid and I need to play position for the 8 ball. The problem is that my position window is rather small, so I'll have to be very specific about my cue ball path. It looks like if we can end up here, we should have a clear shot at the 8 ball. So a good rail number to use would be 20. Now before I even get down in the shot, I visualize the path I'll need to send the cue ball to 20. One trick many strong players use is to keep visualizing the cue ball path even when they're down on the table. This helps keep their focus on the path of the cue ball. Using rail numbers is also used when sending the cue ball off the end rail, as in this example here. I'm playing 9 ball and I need to pocket the 1 ball and send the cue ball off the end rail to this area here. So before I shoot the 1 ball, I'll select a number on the end rail, which in this case is 15, and use that as my target. Using a number like this really helps since you now have a specific target to send the cue ball toward. In this game of 9 ball, I'm on the 2 ball and I need to create an angle on the 3 ball that I can use to get on the 4 ball. The issue is that I'll be playing the 3 in the side pocket, so my position window is rather small. If I just blindly send the cue ball to the side rail, I may end up with an awkward angle. This time before I shoot the 2 ball, I'll examine the 3 ball pocket line. I can see that the pocket line goes to 23 on the side rail. So now I know if I can send the cue ball toward 20, I should end up on the correct side of the pocket line. Giving yourself a specific number on rails like this really helps to tighten your cue ball path, instead of just blindly sending the cue ball to the rail. If you've watched a lot of professional pool, one thing you'll begin to notice is how often these players use middle of the table position. And on some patterns, it may be a series of shots where you'll be landing in the middle of the table, which is this area here. And the reason being able to land in this area is so important is if we look at where the cue ball landed in this run, we now have makeable shots on 7 of the 8 balls that are on the table. And if we continue the run, we can see that almost every shot requires middle of the table position. Now let's go back to the 6 ball. If we had pocketed the 5 ball and ended up short of the middle of the table, we can see how much more difficult the shot is from here as compared to where we landed in the actual run. Almost every game of 9 ball or 8 ball will require middle of the table position at some point, which is why it's so important that players practice these types of shots during their training. Which is why when I work with students, many of the ball pocketing drills we work on revolve around middle of the table position. Learning how to land in this area from different spots on the table is one of the keys to becoming a strong player. When working with students, one principle of pull I try to emphasize is when playing shape for a ball that's on the other half of the table, the player needs to at least reach the 3rd diamond line. For example, in this game of 9 ball, we're on the 1 ball, we need to play a position for the 2 ball. My goal when shooting the 1 ball is to at least get to the 3rd diamond line. Ending up short of the 3rd diamond line would make for a very tough shot on the 2 ball. In this game of 9 ball, we're on the 5 ball and we'll be sending the cue ball to the side rail for shape on the 6 ball. Before I shoot the 5 ball, I'll figure out what speed I'll need to send the cue ball to the 3rd diamond line. In this game of 8 ball, I have 2 solids left. I'm on the 3 ball and I need to play shape for the 5 in the corner pocket. In shots like this where you have to force the cue ball to the end rail and back up, it's easy to underhit the shot and leave yourself a long tough shot on the next ball. So before I shoot the 3 ball, I'll visualize the 3rd diamond line. My goal is to make sure I at least cross this line with the cue ball. In situations like this, a lot of players try so hard to get the perfect angle in the 4 ball that they let up on their speed, leaving themselves a long tough shot. If you give yourself a target for your speed, which in this case is the 3rd diamond, you'll start finding yourself closer to the object ball, which means if your angle is off a bit, it'll be a more manageable shot since you're closer to the object ball. When working with students, one area of pattern play that we focus on is being able to visualize pocket lines for each ball. Visualizing pocket lines really helps you fine-tune your angles when playing 8 ball or 9 ball. For example, in this 8 ball game, we have 2 solids left. Before I shoot the 3 ball, I need to examine the 4 ball pocket line. If I end up too close to the 4 ball pocket line, it's going to be very difficult to send the cue ball to the other half of the table for shape on the 8 ball. Since we're close to the pocket line, I'm going to have to use a power shot to try to move the cue ball down the table. If we end up at this angle, now the angle is helping propel the cue ball down the table for shape on the 8 ball. Since we have more angle, I no longer need a power stroke, so it's going to be much easier to control the cue ball's path. In this 8 ball game, the 8 ball is in the same area as the last example. Before I shoot the 3 ball, I need to examine the 4 ball pocket line. If I end up too close to the 4 ball pocket line, I'm going to have to use a power shot to stun the cue ball off both side rails for position on the 8 ball. At this speed, it's very difficult to be precise with the cue ball's path. If the cue ball ends up a little farther away from the 4 ball pocket line, now the shot becomes a rolling shot instead of a stun shot, which is much easier to control. In this 9 ball game, when I shoot the 5 ball, I need to cross the 6 ball pocket line so I can play shape for the 7 ball. I don't want too much distance between the cue ball and pocket line since I'll be playing position for the 7 ball here. Now if I would have ended up with too much distance between the cue ball and pocket line, I would no longer be able to hold the cue ball for my angle on the 7 ball. Now when I play position for the 8 ball, I don't want the cue ball ending up too far from the 8 ball pocket line. Ending up too far from the pocket line makes for a tough shot to get on the 9 ball. If I end up closer to the pocket line like this, now I can draw the cue ball over to the side rail for shaping the 9 ball. At this angle, I can now follow the cue ball off the end rail and back up for shape on the 9 ball. Here's a common shot that comes up in 8 ball and 9 ball. In this game of 8 ball, I have 2 solids left. My goal is to create an angle on the 4 ball that will take the cue ball toward the 8 ball. If we end up too close to the 4 ball pocket line, we're going to have to use a stun shot, sending the cue ball around the 13 ball. While this shot is doable, it's much tougher than if we had played for a rolling angle on the 4 ball. The reason the rolling shot is preferred is because it's a natural angle to get on the 8 ball, which means the path of the cue ball is pretty much going to remain the same no matter what speed you use. But if we're here, a stun shot is speed sensitive, which means the cue ball will hit different points along the side rail depending on what speed you strike the cue ball. Knowing how close you need to be to pocket lines is one of the keys to becoming a strong player. Once you start visualizing pocket lines for each ball, you'll start to get a better sense of how close the cue ball needs to be to each pocket line. This next principle involves balls that are hanging in a pocket. If you watch professionals, whenever there's a ball hanging in a pocket, they usually take a little more time in planning exactly where they need to be on this ball. When a ball is hanging in a pocket, it's very easy to run into trouble if you're not planning ahead. For instance, in this 10 ball layout, we're on the 5 ball and the 6 ball is hanging in the corner pocket. Many amateur players would assume that they don't have to be as precise with their cue ball positioning since the 6 ball is hanging in the pocket. So if a player pocketed the 5 ball and ended up here, trying to pocket the 6 ball and get his position for the 7 ball isn't that easy. When you have a ball that's hanging in a pocket, take a little extra time in planning out your pattern. That little extra time in planning could mean the difference between losing and winning. This time when we pocket the 5 ball, we're going to send the cue ball all the way down to the end rail. At this angle, a nice soft rolling shot will send the cue ball toward the side rail for shape on the 7 ball. In this game of 9 ball, I may have an issue getting from the 4 ball to the 5 ball. I could pocket the 2 and 3 and leave myself here in the 4 ball, but this requires a pretty precise hit. And from this distance, it's easy to slightly miss-hit the 4 ball, sending the cue ball toward the 8 or 9 ball. Instead, I'm going to create an angle on the 3 ball that I can use to send the cue ball toward the end rail. Now it won't take much to pocket the 4 ball and send the cue ball to the middle of the table. In this game of 8 ball, we're on the 2 ball, but the 5 ball is deep within the jaws of the pocket. When you have a ball that's deep in the pocket like this, you need to play close position, within a diamond of the pocket if possible. More times than not, you're going to be drawing the cue ball out of the pocket, which requires a very precise hit. So you'll definitely want to be as close as possible to the object ball. So in this game, we're going to pocket the 2 ball and send the cue ball as close as possible to the 5 ball. Now at this distance, I can pocket the 5 ball without worrying about accidentally striking the points of the pocket. In this game of 8 ball, I can pocket the 5 ball in the side pocket, but before I shoot, I need to create a game plan to get on the 8 ball. If I can end up near this side rail, I can pocket the 3 ball and go 3 rails for the 8 ball. So when I shoot the 5 ball, I'm going to draw back to this side rail, creating an angle on the 1 ball that I can use to get my angle on the 3 ball. And when I work with students, this is one of the areas that we focus on. A mistake many amateur players make is shooting too quickly when balls are hanging in a pocket. So I set up a drill like this where they have to pocket the ball and send the cue ball between the 8 ball and stripes. What most players find out right away when they try this shot is that if they don't take their time, it's extremely difficult to control the path of the cue ball. So once they have the shot down from this distance, I'll move it about a diamond farther away, and this makes the shot a bit more difficult. The lesson here is when there's a ball hanging in a pocket, you not only need a solid game plan for dealing with it, but you also have to be extremely accurate when you're aiming. In this game of 8 ball, we have 3 solids left. My plan is to pocket the 3 and 5 ball, then I'll use the 2 ball to get on the 8 ball. One game plan is to end up straight in on the 5 ball for the side pocket and play a stop shot for the 2 ball. In order to pocket the 5 ball in the side pocket and get my position on the 2 ball, I'm going to need to land on the 5 ball pocket line. If I end up a little short of this line, or go a little too far, I'll have to find another way to create a workable angle on the 2 ball. So you can see that the position area is very small for playing the 5 ball in the side pocket, since I need to play a stop shot. Now when I work with students, their first instinct is to play position for the side pocket, but they soon learn this takes very precise speed control. When determining if you're going to play a ball in a side or corner pocket, always look at the next ball. If pocketing the object ball in the corner gives you position on the next ball without having to do too much with the cue ball, then the corner pocket is probably the best option. The exception would be if the position window for the side pocket is fairly large. For instance, if the 5 ball were closer to the side pocket, that would open up the position window, making it much easier to get our shape on this ball. Here's a similar example. I have 3 solids left, but the 3 and 5 ball are in a tough position. I could try to come off the end route for shaping the 5 ball for the side pocket, but the speed control has to be very good. Instead, we'll play with a larger position window by pocketing the 1 ball and playing shape for the 5 ball in the corner pocket. Our position window for the 5 ball in the corner pocket is fairly large. And another mistake many of my students make is playing position for the side pocket when the object ball is too far down the table. For instance, in this game of 10 ball, many students would try to pocket the 6 and play position for the 7 in the side pocket. One thing to remember is that as the object ball gets closer to the end rail, the side pockets start to become smaller and smaller due to the angle. So from where the 7 ball is, we no longer have a full pocket to shoot at, so if we pocket the 6 ball and end up a little out of line, it becomes an extremely difficult shot. If the 7 ball were here, now we have a larger pocket to shoot at, so we can definitely play the 7 in the side pocket. But in this situation, most strong players would come off the end rail and go around the 7 ball for the corner pocket. This shot is very repeatable once you have it down, and the position on the 7 ball is very large. Here we're playing 10 ball and the 7 ball is in the same area as the last example. I could pocket the 6 ball with a stop shot and play the 7 in the side pocket. But more times than not, strong players will draw back for the 7 in the corner pocket. They do this because shooting the 7 in the side pocket requires a very precise hit, since it's no longer a full pocket. Shooting the 7 in the corner is a much easier shot, which allows us to focus more attention on getting a precise angle on the 8 ball for the 9 ball. In this scenario, we have 3 solids left. The issue we have is getting on the 2 ball, which we'll probably play in this corner pocket. If we pocket the 3 ball and play shape for the 5 ball in the side pocket, we're going to have to land on the 5 ball pocket line. A little short or a little long, and we'll have some work left to try and get our position on the 2 ball. In situations like this, side pockets are very angle sensitive. In order to land on the 5 ball and follow forward for shaping the 2 ball, we're going to need almost perfect speed control. Instead, I'll play position for the 5 ball in the corner pocket. Playing for the 5 ball in the corner pocket has a slightly larger position area. When you see a professional miss a shot, it's usually position related. They were either trying too hard to create position for their next ball, or they were trying to cheat the pocket to force an angle. And that leads to our next principle: accept the angle you have, and build your game plan around this angle. In this game of 10 ball, we're on the 2 ball, we need to play position for the 5 ball. The problem is that we're straight in on the 2 ball, so there really isn't an angle to send the cue ball in this direction for the 5 ball. So in this case, the prudent decision would be to roll forward and shoot the 5 in the other corner pocket. But many players, in their desire to create an easy shot on their next ball, will try to create an angle that isn't there, and they usually end up catching the point of the pocket. Here's a similar example. In this game of 10 ball, we're on the 2 ball and we need to stun the cue ball over for the 5 ball in this corner pocket. The problem is that the angle we have on the 2 ball is very slight. Even though there isn't enough angle to send the cue ball over for the 5 ball, many players still try to force the shot by creating an angle that isn't there. In situations like this, try to find an alternative game plan. In this situation, we can send the cue ball to the end rail and play the 5 ball in the top right corner pocket. This is a commonly missed shot by many players, and it's missed because the player has an angle in the 3 ball, so they assume that with a good stroke they can bring the cue ball over here for the 4 ball. But at this angle, it would take a very precise shot with a lot of power to send the cue ball to this position area. Since this shot requires a power stroke, being off just a little bit will cause the object ball to miss the pocket. In this situation, the player can just accept the angle they have and just pocket the ball in the corner pocket. Now they have a bank shot in the side pocket. In this last example, we're playing 10 ball and we're straight in on the 1 ball. The problem is that the 3 ball is at the other end of the table. Even though it's a straight in shot on the 1 ball, many players still try to slightly cheat the pocket to send the cue ball to the other half of the table for an easy shot on the 3 ball. But it doesn't take much of a miss hit to catch the point of the side pocket. The safer choice is to just roll forward and accept a longer shot on the 3 ball. So learn to accept the angle you have and just alter your game plan. One question many students have is, how do you know when you should choose short side position? A good rule of thumb is only play short side position when you don't have to do too much with the cue ball. Let's go through some examples so you understand this principle. In this game of 9 ball, we can pocket the 3 ball and play position for the 4 ball in either corner pocket. Now, if we did play short side position on the 4 ball, we would want to end up on or very close to the 4 ball pocket line, so we can roll forward for the 5 ball. If we have a slight angle on the 4 ball, we're going to have to send the cue ball to the other side of the 5 ball. But if we end up with an awkward angle, the shot becomes very difficult. Ending up with an awkward angle on this side of the 4 ball is much more manageable than ending up with an awkward angle on this side of the 4 ball. Now if the 5 ball were here, then a strong player may play short side position since they don't need to do a lot with the cue ball after pocketing the 4 ball. They can focus all their attention on just pocketing the ball. A good rule of thumb to remember is that if position for the following ball is tricky, which in this case is the 5 ball, try to avoid short side position, since any sort of awkward angle on short side position will make it rather challenging to get on the next ball. In this example, the player is playing 9 ball and has a natural angle on the 5 ball to go 3 rails for shape on the 6 ball. Since the 7 ball is on the other half of the table, any sort of awkward angle on the 6 ball, if we play short side position, makes for a tough situation. If the 7 ball were here, now it makes much more sense to play short side position since we don't have to do too much with the cue ball to get our shape on the 7 ball. So in this situation, a strong player would try to send the cue ball above the 6 ball for the corner pocket. In this game of 9 ball, we're on the 4 ball and the 5 ball is on the bottom side rail. We could go 2 rails for short side position on the 5 ball, but like in the previous examples, any sort of awkward angle creates a tough positional shot to get on the 6 ball. If the 6 ball were at this end of the table around here, then playing short side position isn't a bad option. The exception to this rule is if the object ball is on the rail or just barely off the rail. In these situations, you'll always want to avoid short side position if possible, due to the degree of difficulty the shot poses. So in this situation, a strong player would pocket the 4 in the corner and go 3 rails for the 5 in the corner pocket. One question that many students ask is what speed is best for playing pool? If you've ever studied professional players, you'll notice that they all seem to have their own tempo when it comes to playing. But they all regulate their tempo based on how they're controlling the cue ball. If they're creating proper angles on each ball, they tend to fall into their normal tempo, or even a slightly faster tempo. If their angles are a little bit off, they'll slow down their speed until their cue ball is back in line. And this leads us to our next principle. Let the angles dictate your speed. One mistake many league players make, especially league players who tend to play quickly, is playing at their normal tempo even when their cue ball positioning is a little off. And this usually leads to shots that become increasingly more difficult. Part of creating a tempo for yourself is monitoring your cue ball control. If your cue ball is consistently landing at awkward angles, then you need to slow your tempo down slightly and put more focus on controlling the cue ball's speed and direction. If your cue ball is landing at proper angles for each ball, then you can fall into your normal tempo or even a slightly faster tempo. If you're a player that tends to play quickly, make sure you're playing angles that will allow you to play at this faster speed. If you're constantly having to perform difficult shots to continue your run, you may want to slow your speed down until your cue ball is back under control. There are times in 8-ball and 9-ball when it's good strategy to play for 2 pockets. For instance, in this 8-ball game, I'm straight in on the 5-ball, so if I draw the cue ball back for shaping the 6 for the side pocket, there isn't much room for error since the cue ball path is fairly close to the 6-ball. So my speed control would have to be extremely precise. Instead, I'll draw the cue ball back to the side rail and back out. This gives me 2 pockets to play for, the side and the corner. In this game of 9-ball, we're on the 4-ball and the 5-ball is in the middle of the table. We could play a position for the 5 in the top side pocket, but if we go a bit too far, we'll be left with a difficult situation. If we play position for the 5 in the bottom side pocket, now we have 2 pockets that we can shoot the 5 into. If we strike the 4-ball with good speed, we'll have the 5 in the side pocket. If we strike the 4 a bit too hard, we can now shoot the 5 in the corner pocket. Here's a similar layout. In this 10-ball game, I'm on the 4-ball and I can play a position for the 5 in either side pocket. If I play for the 5 in the top side pocket, going a little too far may leave me without a shot. Playing shape for the 5 in the bottom side pocket gives me 2 pockets to choose from. Here's a shot that comes up every once in a while. In this game of 9-ball, I'm on the 3-ball and I need to play a position for the 4-ball. I could try to drag the cue ball to this area with a good draw stroke, but controlling the cue ball's speed may be a bit tricky. Instead, I'll send the cue ball toward the second diamond on the bottom side rail with good speed. Playing the shot this way gives me 2 pockets to play for, the side or corner pocket. So when playing a tough position shot, see if there's a 2 pocket option. And we've all heard the saying, think 3 balls ahead, which is an excellent rule to live by when playing 9-ball or 10-ball. But in the beginning of these games, you need to start thinking 4 balls ahead, since there are more balls on the table and more ways of running into trouble. When playing 9-ball or 10-ball, the average league player tends to get out of line by the 3rd ball, and this is usually the result of not developing a correct game plan. In the beginning of 9-ball and 10-ball games, due to the amount of balls on the table, you're going to have to look beyond the 3rd ball. So if you're on the 1 ball, your goal should be to find what angle on the 4 ball will work for getting on the 5 ball. Once you have this angle, you can then work backwards. For instance, in this game of 10 ball, we have ball in hand on the 1 ball. Before I shoot the 1 ball, I need to determine what angle on the 4 ball will take me to the 5 ball. If I end up here, I should be able to roll in the 4 ball to get on the 5 ball. In order to end up here for the 4 ball, an angle like this on the 3 ball will allow me to stun the cue ball down to the end rail. In order to end up at this angle in the 3 ball, An angle like this on the 2 ball should send the cue ball to this position area. A player who isn't looking ahead to the 5 ball may pocket the 1 and 2 ball and end up here for the 3 ball. Now it's going to be extremely difficult to create our proper angle on the 4 ball. This time when we shoot the 1 ball, we're going to leave ourselves an angle that we can use to end up on this side of the 3 ball pocket line. Now we can stun the cue ball off the 3 ball toward the end rail. By planning 4 balls ahead, we've avoided the trap of ending up with the wrong angle on the 4 ball. In this game of 10 ball, this is our first shot on the 1 ball. If we look 4 balls ahead, we can see that once again the 5 ball is in a tough position. If we can end up here on the 4 ball, we should be able to get our position for the 5 ball. Since we know we need to end up around here for the 4 ball, an angle like this on the 3 ball should work for sending the cue ball to this position area. But if we're not looking 4 balls ahead, we may pocket the 1 ball and end up here for the 2 ball. At this angle on the 2 ball, we can no longer get to our ideal position area for the 3 ball. We'll have to play the 3 in the bottom side pocket, but getting to our ideal angle on the 4 ball is going to be very difficult. So now when we pocket the 1 ball, we're going to send the cue ball to the side rail. Now we can softly roll on the 2 ball for our angle on the 3 ball. In this game of 10 ball, we have ball in hand on the 1 ball. Before we pocket the 1 ball, we're going to look 4 balls ahead. Right away we can see that we may have a problem getting from the 4 ball to the 5 ball. So before we shoot the 1 ball, we need to figure out the best way to get from the 4 ball to the 5 ball. If we can end up here, we can go 3 rails for position on the 5 ball. An angle like this on the 3 ball will send the cue ball to our position area for the 4 ball. Now we have to find the best way to get to this position area for the 3 ball. We could end up here for the 2 ball and draw around the 6 ball, but if we end up a bit short, we'll be left with a flat angle. Or a slightly better alternative is to pocket the 2 ball and go 3 rails. Playing position this way sends the cue ball toward the 3 ball at the correct angle. So now when I shoot the 1 ball, I'm going to leave myself an angle on the 2 ball that I can use to send the cue ball 3 rails for my angle on the 3 ball. So it's important that you start thinking in 4 ball patterns, especially in the beginning of 9 ball and 10 ball games. And this type of planning leads us to our next principle. Develop patterns by working backwards. And this is especially true when playing 8 ball. Let's examine this 8 ball rack. The first thing we'll do is figure out which pocket we'll be making the 8 ball into. Once we pocket the 6 ball, that will open up the side pocket for the 8 ball. Now we need to find our key ball, which is the solid we'll be using to get our position on the 8 ball for the side pocket. The 2 and 4 ball are near the side pocket, so we can probably use one of these 2 balls to get on the 8 ball. If we choose the 4 ball, we'll have to end up in this area in order to send the cue ball to the end rail. We can see that being off even a little bit on our ideal angle for the 4 ball makes it much more difficult to get on the 8 ball. If we choose the 2 ball as our key ball, our position window is a little larger. Anywhere at this angle should work for sending the cue ball down table for shape on the 8 ball. Now that we have our key ball, we need to find which ball we can use to get on the 2 ball. Since we need to end up in this area, the 5 ball should work to get on the 2 ball. The 1 ball looks like a good ball to use to get on the 5 ball. The 6 ball looks like it will work to get on the 1 ball. And that leaves us the 3 and 4 ball, which I'll pocket first. I'll shoot the 3 ball, leaving the cue ball near the 4 ball pocket line. The goal when pocketing the 4 ball is to make sure I cross the 6 ball pocket line. Now we can roll in the 5 ball, giving us our angle on the 2 ball. So working backwards like this set up the whole rack for us and gave us a game plan for the table run. In this 8 ball game, we've ended up here after our break. But before we start shooting, we need to figure out which solid we can use to get our position on the 8 ball. If we end up here on the 6 ball, we can roll it in and get our shape on the 8 ball. If we shoot a stop shot on the 7 ball in the corner pocket, this will give us automatic shape on the 6 ball. And if we end up straight in on the 1 ball, we can get our shape on the 7 ball for the corner pocket. I can use the 2 ball or 1 ball to get on the 7 ball, but it looks like I may be shooting the 2 ball first, since it's my best offensive shot, considering where the cue ball is. So now we know the last 3 solids we're going to play before shooting the 8 ball. Since I'll be pocketing the 2 ball first, that leaves the 5, 3, and 4 ball. My goal when shooting the 2 ball is to end up in the middle of the table, which gives me either the 5 or the 3 ball in the corner pocket. Here we've ended up straight in on the 5 ball, so we'll go ahead and pocket the 5 ball and 3 ball. Now we have an angle on the 4 ball that we can roll in and get our position on the 1 ball. Working backwards like this when playing 8 ball will help give you the game plan you need to figure out your pattern. In this game of 8 ball, we've ended up here after the break. Right away I can see that the 8 ball is in a tough position. It looks like we'll have to play it in the corner or side pocket. The 5 ball looks like a good key ball to get on the 8 ball. Now we need to find a solid that we can use to get on the 5 ball. The 4 ball is near the side pocket, so this should work for getting on the 5 ball. We can use the 1 ball to get on the 4 ball. So now we know we probably don't want to shoot the 5 ball first. If we can shoot the 3 ball and then shoot the 7 ball, crossing the 2 ball pocket line, we can then draw back for the 6 ball. Now we can roll in the 6 ball, leaving us our shape on the 1 ball. So when working backwards in an 8 ball game, once you find your key ball, then find which ball will work for getting position on this key ball. Then build your pattern around these 2 balls. When I work with students, one mistake they usually make is selecting a small position area that's quite a distance away. And what they usually find out is that the farther the cue ball has to travel, the less chance there is of the cue ball stopping where they think it's going to stop. For example, in this 9 ball layout, we're on the 4 ball, we need to play position for the 5 ball. The problem is that we need an angle on the 5 ball that will take the cue ball over to the side rail for the 6 ball. And when I work with students, they usually try to play position for this area here. The problem is that this is a small position area, and we're going to be traveling quite a distance from the 4 ball. When traveling this far for a small position area, chances are you're not going to end up where you think. It's not going to take much of a speed difference to end up with an awkward angle. So the more prudent choice would be to play position for the middle of the table. From here we can go 2 or 3 rails for shape on the 6 ball. By playing position this way on the 5 ball gives us a much larger position area. In this layout we're playing 9 ball and we're on the 3 ball. Many players would choose to pocket the 3 ball and end up here for the 4 ball so they can follow the cue ball to the side rail for shape on the 5 ball. But from this distance, chances are you're not going to end up where you think you're going to end up. When it comes to small position areas, sometimes a difference of only a 1/4 inch can change an easy shot to a very difficult shot. A better option is to play for the bottom right corner pocket. If we happen to cross the 4 ball pocket line, we can now shoot the 4 in the side pocket. And since we're playing the 4 ball in this side pocket, our tangent line heads toward the side rail for shape in the 5 ball. In this game of 8 ball, we're on the 1 ball, we need to play position for the 3 ball in the side pocket. Our goal is to cross the 3 ball pocket line and end up in this area. From this distance though, trying to pocket the 1 and roll into our position area is probably not going to work. There's a good chance that we'll end up short of the pocket line. A better option is to send the cue ball all the way to the end rail. This opens up our position window, giving us a much better chance of ending up on the correct side of the pocket line. In this game of 9 ball, we're on the 2 ball, we need to create an angle in the 3 ball that we can use to get on the 4 ball. If we had ball in hand on the 3 ball, we could place a cue ball here and naturally roll the cue ball toward the 4 ball. Even though this is the best way to play position from the 3 to the 4 ball, it's not a position area that we would try to get to from the 2 ball, since we'll be traveling about half a table. From this distance, we probably won't end up where we think we're going to end up. It won't take much of a speed difference to leave ourselves in a difficult situation. Instead, I'll play for a high angle in the 3 ball, since our position area is very large. So the lesson here is, if you have to travel quite a ways to land in a small position area, just know that the cue ball probably won't end up where you think it's going to end up. There are times in 8 ball and 9 ball when it's too difficult to land on the correct side of the pocket line for the next ball. For example, in this game of 10 ball, I need to create an angle in the 6 ball that I can use to get on the 7 ball. My ideal angle is on this side of the 6 ball pocket line. The problem is that this position area may be hard to get to from the 5 ball, and accidentally ending up in this area will make it very difficult to get back for the 7 ball. The better choice is to play for an angle on the incorrect side of the pocket line. So before I shoot the 5 ball, I need to decide if I want a stun or rolling shot on the 6 ball. If I ended up here, I would have to use a stun shot, which makes speed and cue ball path a little more difficult. If I pocket the 5 ball and leave myself here, now the angle is helping move the cue ball back toward the other end rail where the 7 ball is. So even though I had to play shape on the wrong side of the 6 ball pocket line, I still needed to be real specific about what kind of angle I need to use. In this game of 9 ball, I ended up with an awkward angle on the 3 ball. Ideally, I would have liked to have been straight in on the 3 ball so I can follow forward with the cue ball and end up near the 4 ball pocket line. From there I can pocket the 4 and get on the 5 ball. But at this angle in the 3 ball I can no longer roll forward and get my shape on the 4 ball. So in this situation, even though I can't get to my ideal position area for the 4 ball, I still need to create an angle that will help me play shape for the 5 ball. Ending up here will allow me to roll in the 4 ball and go 2 rails for my position on the 5 ball. In this game of 9 ball, I ended up with a funny angle on the 2 ball. I could pocket the 2 ball and draw back to here for the 3 ball, but at this angle I'll have to stun the cue ball to go 3 rails around the 9 ball. If I can pocket the 2 ball and draw back to this area, now I can use a rolling cue ball to send the cue ball around the table. If you have to play position on the incorrect side of the pocket line, you still need to play for a stun or rolling angle. Whenever a top player approaches the table, the first thing he looks at is the tangent line of the object ball. He then uses the tangent line as a reference point, then he'll make any necessary adjustments. For instance, in this game of 9 ball, we're on the 6 ball and we need to play shape for the 7 ball on the other side of the table. On shots like this, many amateur players tend to send the cue ball too close to the corner pocket, risking a scratch. Let's examine the tangent line of the 6 ball. To find the tangent line, draw a line from the object ball to the point in the pocket you'll be sending it toward. Now think of this line as one side of a rectangle. Your cue ball should travel parallel to the top of this rectangle if you use a sliding cue ball when striking the 1 ball. And basically a sliding cue ball is a cue ball that doesn't have any draw or follow when it reaches the object ball. To learn more about a sliding cue ball, please check out Secrets 3 Pattern Play. So it looks like a sliding cue ball should strike the side rail around the 3rd diamond, which should send the cue ball down to the 7 ball. Here's a similar shot on the 6 ball, but this time if we send the cue ball down the tangent line, we may strike the 8 ball. Since we know the tangent line goes here, if we use about a tip of draw on the cue ball, we can now pull the cue ball back a little bit, sending the cue ball toward the end rail. In this game of 9 ball, we're on the 1 ball and we need to create an angle on the 3 ball that we can use to get on the 4 ball. If we examine the 3 ball pocket line, we can see that if we end up in this area, we should have a nice angle to get our position for the 4 ball. Now if we look at the tangent line for the 1 ball, we can see that a sliding cue ball should strike the rail across from the 6 ball, which should then send it to our position area. So we ended up with a nice angle on the 3 ball. If we look at the tangent line of the 3 ball, we can see that a sliding cue ball will be sent between the 4 and 7 ball, which should work fine. In this game of 9 ball, I need to pocket the 1 ball and create an angle on the 3 ball that I can use to get on the 4 ball. If we could end up here on the 3 ball, we can use this angle to get on the 4 ball. So the first thing we'll do is look at the tangent line for the 1 ball. It looks like a sliding cue ball may strike the 3 ball. But if the cue ball is rolling instead of sliding when it strikes the 1 ball, its path will no longer be parallel with the rectangle, which will send it toward the side rail. Before we shoot the 3 ball, we need to examine its tangent line. It looks like the tangent line will send the cue ball between the 2nd and 3rd diamond. If the cue ball has a touch of roll on it when it strikes the 3 ball, it should be sent toward 20, giving me position on the 4 ball. Here's a common positional shot that comes up in 9 ball and 8 ball games. In this game of 9 ball, we're on the 4 ball, we need to create an angle on the 5 ball that will take the cue ball to the other half of the table for shape on the 6 ball. Let's look at the tangent line of the 5 ball for the side pocket. If we end up here for the 5 ball, it looks like the tangent line will send the cue ball toward the 3rd diamond on the side rail. Now that I know the path of a sliding cue ball, I can make a slight adjustment when shooting the 5 ball. If the cue ball has a touch of roll on it when it strikes the 5 ball, it should head toward the 2nd diamond, giving me nice position on the 6 ball. In this next example, we're playing 9 ball and we're on the 3 ball. The issue is that the 5 ball is tied up. If I can end up here for the 4 ball, the tangent line will send the cue ball directly into the 5 and 6. So let's examine the tangent line for the 3 ball. It looks like a sliding cue ball should send the cue ball toward the 3rd diamond. As long as we have enough speed to come off the rail a little bit, we should end up with a nice angle on the 4 ball. Being able to see the tangent lines of object balls will really start to simplify how you control the cue ball. Once you find the tangent line, you can then make any adjustments to control the cue ball's path. For instance, in this 8 ball game, I have ball in hand on my last solid. If I pocket it in the corner, the tangent line goes here. So now I'll strike the cue ball a touch above center, which will add a little roll to the cue ball. So when playing position, always examine the object ball's tangent line first. Using the tangent line as a reference point for the cue ball path will help make positional shots very repeatable. One mistake many players make when playing pool is exchanging one angle for another. For instance, in this game of 9 ball, we're on the 1 ball, we need to create an angle on the 2 ball that will take the cue ball to the other end rail for shape on the 3 ball. In situations like this, many students will try to pocket the 1 ball and roll down a few inches to make the 2 ball shot just a little easier. But in doing this, they risk going a couple inches too far, making it tougher to get shape on the 3 ball. If we were to kill the cue ball near the 1 ball, this angle is actually ideal for sending the cue ball to the other end of the table. In this game of 9 ball, we've ended up straight in on the 6 ball. In situations like this, many players would try to draw the cue ball back to the side rail and back out for shape on the 7 ball. By doing this, they risk ending up with an awkward angle, or even ending up behind the 10 ball. But if we look at the 6 ball, a stop shot will give us the ideal angle on the 7 ball to go off the end rail toward the 8 ball. Here is a similar example. In this game of 10 ball, we're straight in on the 2 ball and we need to create an angle on the 5 ball to get on the 6 ball. A lot of players would try to draw the cue ball back off the side rail, creating their position for the 5 ball. But there's some risk involved with this shot, and it wouldn't take much to end up behind the 10 ball. But if we look at the 2 ball, a stop shot gives us the ideal angle on the 5 ball to get on the 6 ball. In this game of 10 ball, we're on the 5 ball, we need to create an angle to get on the 7 ball. Our ideal angle on the 6 ball is here, since we can just pocket the 6 and the cue ball will naturally head to the end rail for shaping the 7 ball. Even though this would be our ideal angle to get on the 7 ball, we may not want to risk ending up with an awkward angle on the 6 ball. If we look at where the 5 ball is, if we can pocket the 5 ball and keep this high angle on the 6 ball, we can now use this angle to send the cue ball toward the other half of the table. Now if the 5 ball and cue ball were closer to the end rail, we now have a much better chance of getting our ideal shape on the 6 ball. So if you're going to exchange an angle on the object ball for a better angle, make sure your chances of creating this new angle are very high. In this game of 10 ball, we're on the 2 ball, we need to create an angle on the 3 ball that we can use to get on the 4 ball. If we pocket the 2 ball, we have enough room between the 7 and 9 ball to pocket the 3 ball. As long as we pocket the 2 ball and hold this line, we'll have a shot on the 3 ball that we can use to get on the 4 ball. But some players will bypass this shot in an effort to create an easier shot on the 3 ball. But sometimes the shot that they have to shoot to create an easier shot is just as tough or tougher than the shot they passed up. Before bypassing a good angle on your next object ball, make sure it's worth the risk. Sometimes just taking the tougher shot on the object ball is the best choice. One aspect of pool that isn't discussed much is playing position into an open area as opposed to coming off the rail. If you watch professionals, whenever possible they prefer coming off rails for position on their next ball. In most circumstances, rolling into position areas requires better speed control than if the player came off a rail. For instance, in this game of 9 ball, we have ball in hand on the 4 ball. Our ideal angle is around here on the 5 ball. Now many players would choose to roll into this position area. The danger in playing the shot this way is that you don't have position until the very end of the cue ball path, so your speed control has to be excellent. A better alternative is to send the cue ball off the side rail. The reason this option is better is that there is more of the cue ball path that is in the position area, so your position window is much larger. And once you have this shot down, you can shoot it over and over again with consistent results. Here's another example where many students choose to roll into an open area as opposed to coming off the rail. In this 9 ball game, we have ball in hand on the 1 ball, and we need to end up in this position area so we can play shape for the 3 ball. If we try to roll into this area from the 1 ball, our speed control would have to be excellent. It won't take much to end up a little long or a little short. This time we'll send the cue ball off the side rail with a touch of right spin. Now, once the cue ball leaves the side rail, it's traveling toward the 2 ball at the correct angle. If you play the shot this way, your speed control doesn't have to be perfect, which means you can repeat this shot over and over again with similar results. Here's a shot that comes up quite often. In this 10 ball layout, I'm on the 4 ball and I need to create an angle on the 5 ball to get on the 6 ball. If we can end up on this side of the 5 ball pocket line, we should have a nice angle on the 5 ball to take the cue ball toward the end rail. So in this scenario, we have 2 options. In the first option, we can roll forward to here, just crossing the 5 ball pocket line. This option will require excellent speed control since we don't have our angle until the very end of the cue ball path. The second option is to send the cue ball off the end rail and toward the 5 ball at the correct angle. Playing position this way really opens up our position window. And if we did hit the shot badly and came up a little short of the end rail, we would still be on the correct side of the pocket line, which is much better than coming up short as in the first option. In this 10-ball game, I'm on the 6 ball and I need to end up on this side of the 7-ball pocket line so I can get my shape on the 8 ball. Once again, I have two options in playing position. I can either roll into this area, which would require excellent speed control, or I can send the cue ball off the side and end rail, opening up my position window. Once the cue ball comes off the end rail, it's traveling on the correct side of the pocket line, so we can end up anywhere along this path. Playing the shot this way isn't as speed sensitive. In this 10-ball game, we have ball in hand on the 1 ball, and we need to create an angle on the 2 ball that we can use to get on the 3 ball. If we can end up on this side of the pocket line, we'll have a nice angle that we can use to get on the 3 ball. When I set up this layout for my students, they tend to place the cue ball here and try to roll into their position area. And sometimes they are successful on their first attempt, so they assume this is the proper way to play it. But pool is a game where consistency is key, and what the students soon realize is that landing in their position area over and over again is very difficult. A more consistent way to create our angle on the 2 ball is to place the cue ball here and send the cue ball off the side rail. By playing the shot this way, we no longer need precise speed control, which now means our consistency will be much better, and this will result in more table runs.